Hey guys, what's up? I'm Justin from MLB Baseball Blogs. We're continuing our 30 clubs, 30 recaps. We're stopping off with the Marlins. Before we get to that, we don't have Tim on today, but later on today we're going to have a guest host. His name is Reds Fan Coop 1. He is a Reds expert right now, so he's going to know a lot of questions. I have a couple questions I want to ask him about how the Reds are going to do this upcoming season. So let's just get started with the Florida Marlins, and in the next video you'll see is about the Cincinnati Reds, and let's see how their outlook is going to be. So let's do the outlook for the 2011 Marlins. Alright, so the 2010 Marlins, they were in third place. I'm pretty sure they were in third place. I didn't really follow them last season. Dan Uggla was on my fantasy team, so I had to follow Dan Uggla. So I'm projecting them to be in third place. Last season they were 80 and 82. Manager is Edwin Rodriguez. Last season, I'm going to talk about this Hanley Ramirez thing. It was a ground ball. It hit off his leg, and then it bounced into the left field corner, and he just pretty much walked or jogged for the ball, and it gave in a lot of scores, and that's pretty much in the past right now. Hanley's going into the season. People are saying that he's going to be the NL MVP. I'm like, nah, and he's not going to be the NL MVP. I think it's going to be somebody else. Hanley, he has everything there is to be the MVP. I just think he's going to maybe be an MVP in about 2 or 3 years. Hanley, I'm not giving him any. He's just a fantastic player all around. I just still don't think that Hanley's going to be the NL MVP this year. So that's just my prediction. I'll give you my projection at the end of the 30 recaps this week. I'm going to give you my projected on who's going to be the champion this year and who's going to be the World Series champions this year. My AL MVP, NL, Cy Young awards, all that good stuff. Alright, so back to the Marlins. I'm going to talk about real quick about their pitching rotation. Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson's coming back from injury. I think it's an elbow or a shoulder injury. I don't know for sure. But he left last season at a good record. He was 11-6 with a 2.30 ERA, and he struck out a lot of batters. I mean, I don't know precisely. This is all coming from Lindy Sports Daniels, the magazine I'm reading off. He had 183 innings pitched. I mean, this guy is the most valuable pitcher. I mean, he's a Cy Young. He has to win Cy Young this year. I'm pretty sure he's going to be one of my top 3 picks to be Cy Young this year. So he's one of the NL slots I'm going to be probably asking for to become Cy Young. He's going to have a bounce back year. I can probably have him winning 21 games this season. He's just a beast athlete. He said he's all set to go for the season. So expect Josh Johnson to have a major good season this year. Their number 2 guy, you guys may know him by the name of Ricky Nolasco. I don't really much about the Marlins pitchers besides Josh Johnson, Chris Volstad, and Javier Vasquez. That just leaves out Ricky Nolasco and Anibal Sanchez. Ricky Nolasco, Lindy has him as a strong, thick body, strong delivery with the high 3/4 arm action. So I'm pretty sure it sounds like he's a really awesome athlete. I mean, last year he was pretty decent. He was 14-9 with a somewhat of a high ERA of a 4.51 and had 157 innings pitched. I can see him winning at least 17 games this season, probably losing 10 or 11 games. So I think the Marlins are going to have a pretty decent 1-2 starter. So I have to give good graces off to Josh Johnson because he is the ace of the squad. So in the future, it could be Josh Johnson still because this guy's just beast. So Ricky Nolasco is a number 2 starter. I'm just pretty sure that he's going to have a decent season this year. Ricky Nolasco, like I said, he's going to have a decent season. That's how I have to put it. I don't really know much about him. So their number 3 starter, a guy I don't know much about, Anibal Sanchez. Last year he had a iffy season. He was 13-12 with a 3.55 ERA and had 195 innings pitched. I mean, he sounds pretty decent. He can be a good, maybe number 3 starter, which he is this year. I actually would have him at number 4, so he can also be a good number 3. He has him at a 4-pitch starter. He has 4 main pitches. This is off Lindy's. He's a fluid delivery from 3/4. So I don't really know much about him. Like I said before with Ricky Nolasco, I don't really know much about him. So I can't really give you much detail into these guys except for the written report on the Marlins and all this other good stuff. Check out my website for all the latest news on the Marlins. So I'll give you the full written report on this team. So I think the Marlins with Anibal Sanchez is going to be a pretty decent season. I think their pitching rotation is going to be pretty decent. So let's continue. This guy, I'm not too sure about. Javier Vasquez. I'm not much of a huge fan. Last season with the Yankees, he was just terrible. 10-10 last season with a 5.32 ERA and had 157 innings pitched. I cannot stand him that much. I mean, he's a good ace to have in your squad, but I guess he's like getting up to age. It's what me and my friend were talking about. Javier was just not that guy last season for the Yankees. The Yankees did not really want to re-sign him because you know how bad he was last season, so the Yankees decided to part ways with him, and all of a sudden he wanted to sign with Marlins, so that's what he said, and he signed with the Marlins. He's going to be projected their number 4 starter. I can see him being the 5th starter. I don't think he has like that much goodness in him, and he's pretty decent. He's a veteran, but I can really see him being the number 5 starter until he really improves himself. I mean, I haven't really seen him pitch for the Marlins in the spring training, so I can't really scout on him. There are some good parts on him that you want to think about and just wait for the season. So I think Javier Vasquez is not that great of a pitcher right now. He just needs to improve. And rounding out their rotation, we got none other than, you know his name, you always know his name. His name is Chris Volstad. Chris Volstad was a pretty good pitcher last season. He got in that fight with Nyjer Morgan, which was a classic fight. I thought it was pretty funny. It was Chris Volstad threw the ball right past Nyjer Morgan, and Nyjer Morgan ran to the mound. They get clotheslined, I think, by Gabby Sanchez, the first baseman. I mean, that fight was pretty funny. I mean, Nyjer Morgan just got laid out, and then when we walk into his bullpen, he just waves his arm over. He's like, "What?" I mean, like, dude, you just got clotheslined. So eventually, I think Chris Volstad, Nyjer, and Gabby were all suspended for a couple of games. But that didn't really affect anything. In 2010, Chris Volstad was 12-9 with a 4.58 ERA, had 175 innings pitched. I mean, he's pretty good. I don't really know much about the Marlins pitchers. I don't really watch the Marlins games, but if you have any experts out there on the Marlins, please correct me below. But I'm pretty sure they think the Marlins are going to be good in 3rd place. I don't really see them overcoming the Twins, or the Braves, or the Phillies for 1st or 2nd. They could surprise me this year. I mean, John Buck's a good acquirement, Omar Infante's a good acquirement, Mike Dunn's a good acquirement, but their pitching rotation has some questions, but not that much. Alright, so their key acquirements this season, they got Omar Infante, they got John Buck and Mike Dunn, but they're missing out on some key departures. I mean, no more Cameron Maybin, who was traded to the Padres. No more Andrew Miller. You got Will Oman, who's still a free agent. Jorge Sosa is a free agent. Chad Tracy, who is pretty much a minor leaguer right now. He's not that good as he was before. Then you got Dan Uggla, who was a key part of this team. He was traded to the Braves for Omar Infante. Talking about their key acquirement, John Buck, who's coming over from the Toronto Blue Jays, was in his contract season last year, and he was really, really great. 20 home runs, 66 RBIs, with a .281 batting average. This guy is going to be a monster to come this season. I actually have him hitting maybe 28 or 29 home runs. I mean, he has all the power and everything. So John Buck's going to have a great season for this Marlins squad. Mike Dunn, don't know much about Mike Dunn except that he's going to be the setup role for Leo Nunez for the Marlins closer role. Me and Tim were talking about this, and I was like, I don't think Leo Nunez should be the closer, because last season he gave up a lot of blown saves. I'm like, Leo Nunez is still a young pitcher. I think he should be a setup guy. I mean, Mike Dunn has the experience, so why not give Mike Dunn the closer role? And Tim goes, Leo Nunez has the experience of being the closer, but I'm not really for sure that Leo Nunez still has what it takes to be the closer. I mean, in a few years, until he can prove himself, Leo Nunez should be a closer, but I still think Mike Dunn should be the closer. So that's my opinion on Mike Dunn in the Leo Nunez situation. And then you got Omar Infante. Omar Infante is coming over from the Braves. I mean, I don't know much about him because I don't really follow the Braves that much, but I would like to talk Braves. I know a lot of the Braves players. I know what goes on, but I just don't really pay attention to Omar Infante a whole much. Last season for the Braves, he was had 8 home runs, 47 RBIs, and he had a great batting average at a .321. He's an all-round hitter. I mean, he's pretty good. I can't really say much, but I have to wait for the season to come. So I'm projecting he's going to hit maybe about 14, 15 home runs this season. I mean, it's a big stadium at the Miami Dolphins Stadium. It's a pretty long ways from that home run to hit. So Omar Infante he should hit more RBIs and home runs this season. So that's all. That's what my little scouting report is on Omar Infante. And to wrap up this, we have the projected batting order. At number 1, Chris Coughlin. Number 2, we got Gabby Sanchez. Number 3, we got your man Hanley Ramirez, future MVP of the NL. He's one of my top 3 guys to actually run for the NL MVP this year. Number 4, we got Mike Stanton. Number 5, we got the man John Buck. Number 6, we got Logan Morrison. Number 7, Omar Infante. Number 8, Wes Helms. And number 9, closing it up, the pitcher's roll. So guys, I'm Justin from MLB Baseball Blogs. I had a kind of a weak thing for this Marlins squad. I don't know much. I apologize to all you Marlins fans. I will go on my website tonight and make a full written report about the Marlins' upcoming season. So I'm Justin. I'll talk to you guys later. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Reds, and then we have a couple more teams I'm going to finish up tonight. Cincinnati Reds will have a great host, the Reds Fan Coop 1. So check that out in a few. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm Justin. Y'all have a great week.